Hi, everybody. So I just wanted to give you another update. I'm trying to do this weekly. I can't promise anything, especially right now doing this Easter to Pentecost thing. It's, 2 videos a day, plus I'm still doing the chaplet on Fridays. It's a lot of recording, but it's been good. I have really been enjoying the Easter to Pentecost journaling project. And I hope that you have been too if you've been watching it. And I hope that you've been doing it too, not just watching. um, anyway, it's been very growth producing for me. And like I've shared a couple of times, with a project that's that long, we don't necessarily look for huge, profound truths each day, because if we do, we'll be really overwhelmed with 51 days of that. So a lot of the times, it's just really small little nuggets, but those all add up. And for me, they've really been adding up. Anyway, I had shared with you about my diabetes, and I shared with you about my struggles with my house cleaning. So I wanted to share another struggle with you. I'm going to update on good things too later, probably next week or something. But I really want your prayers. And that's why I'm sharing about the struggles first. It's not to be negative or anything like that, but just because I really need your prayers. So another thing that's going on that's just really weird and also concerning is that my mobility is getting worse and worse and worse. And this started back in my 30s. I hadn't really thought about it going back that far until recently, but I remember, I think I was probably around 39 or so, 37, 38, 39, someplace in there. My son had been born, and I think he was pretty young. And I was having problems. I noticed it, especially when I'd like go forward and kneel for prayer, and my knees were really hurting me. And so my doctor did x-rays of it. And I remember he was showing me the x-rays, and he says, "Oh, it's a normal part of the maturation process." And I'm thinking, I said to him, "Are you saying I'm getting old?" And he was younger than me, and I was in my, late 30s. So he was a pretty young doctor. So it's just kind of funny. But that's just gotten worse and worse and worse. He had said that it was bursitis, and goodness, I hope that all that noise isn't distracting for you. I'm hearing a noise in my headphones from my computer, and I'm hoping that it's not, you guys aren't hearing it. But anyway, so that's just gotten worse and worse and worse. And then when I got Lyme, it got really bad. I have been healed of Lyme, and I no longer have the Lyme symptoms, but I seem to have like residual effects from it, or maybe it's just part of the normal maturation process. But anyway, it's getting to be really hard for me to walk, and I have 16 steps from my front door down the hill to, their steps are brick steps down to my driveway, and a step outside of my house onto the porch. And like today, it was so bad that I couldn't even go out on my porch. So I've got mail, and I can't go to my mailbox and get it. And it's just kind of off and on. Some days are better than others, but pretty much since I got home from New Mexico, I mean, like, I have packages I need to mail, and I can't get them down the steps because I have to turn around backwards to go down some of the steps and hold on to things. And how would I carry the packages? And then standing in line at the post office would be really difficult. So, so that's just happening, and I'm trying to find out what's going on, why my legs are giving me so much trouble, and sometimes they're very painful, and then what to do about it. So if you could be praying that we can figure out what's going on and that I can recover my mobility. I want to put in, rather than moving, because if I move, I'd have to get a mortgage, and I really don't want to do that. So I would like to put in a driveway up at the top of my hill that would take me into the backyard, and my front steps are at a curve, so I really can't put a ramp up on them, and they're really steep. But in the backyard, there are steps that go up to my kitchen, and there's just 4 steps. It'd be very easy to put in a ramp there. And so if I could drive in there and be able to come up the ramp, that would just be a lot better. And same thing for leaving, obviously. And then if I need to get into my garage, because that's where I store a lot of stuff, I can always drive down to my driveway and go straight into my garage. So yeah, so just be praying about that for me, be praying about the whole situation. I would really just like God to just heal me, or at least give me a way to get this better. But I have come to recognize over the last few years that sometimes God allows suffering in our life because it brings us closer to him and because we can serve him better with it. And so I'm willing for him to say no. But yeah, I'd rather, I would rather not have to deal with pain, and I'd rather, be able to walk really well and everything. Most of you probably know that I used to love to walk and hike and stuff. So anyway, so that's something for you to be praying for, please. My life is not all bad. I just want to make that really clear. I'm actually fairly happy. I still deal with some depression from Bill's death, but I'm getting better. And some of the things that I've told you about that I'm working on are really helping. And yeah, getting out of my house a lot more is making a difference. The weather is absolutely fantastic right now. And so I can go out and I can, if I can get down a couple steps, then I can get onto my grass in my front yard, and I have a chair out there, and I like to sit there barefoot and work on my Spanish. Don't try to speak to me in Spanish, because even though I'm working really hard on learning it, it's like in one ear and out the other. It's like I know it during the lesson, and then after the lesson, or like if somebody tries talking to me at church in Spanish, oh my goodness. Yeah, so it's like I'm not having a very good time retaining it, but I'm trying to learn. It was really funny because the other day I went to mass on a weekday, and so there's not very many people, and there's this man and his wife who go, and he only speaks Spanish. I think she speaks English, and they were right in front of me, and the door was locked on the side of the church, so they went around to the front of the church to go in. Well, when I got up there, before I turned to go towards the front, one of the gals who was inside opened up the door for me, so I came in. And when he came in, he looked at me and he said something in Spanish that I couldn't understand, but I could tell from the way he was acting and everything, like, "How did you get in here?" And he said, Parakletos, Parakletos, or something, which sounds like Paraclete. So I figured he was saying the Holy Spirit. And I said, Espiritu Sanctus. And he said, sí, sí. So I'm not sure if he was saying I came in with the help of the Holy Spirit or what, but it was just kind of fun. And we actually talked a little bit more in Spanish. He had to keep repeating things for me, but I figured it out. So that was really fun. So I'm not really sure why it's so important to me to learn Spanish. I used to be able to understand it pretty well because I lived in California all my life, but I've been away for almost 20 years. And so even when I like hear it on a TV show or something, I don't really understand it anymore. So I wanted to learn it. We have 3 services at our church. We have the Latin Mass, then we have the English Mass, and then there's a Spanish Mass. And I have a few friends from the Spanish Mass, and I really want to be able, most of them, other than that man, speak English, but I want to be able to speak to them in their language. I think that it's not really fair for them to always have to be making that extra effort to speak in English. And I'd like to be able to speak to them in their heart language, and to at least have them know that I'm trying. So, yeah. So, and I'd like to eventually be going to the Spanish Mass. I go to that, I don't know, maybe every month or 6 weeks, and I really enjoy it. It's more my style, if you can say that Mass, that you have a style. They're more enthusiastic and stuff in there. And even our priest, who, in the English service and the Spanish service, he's the priest for both of them, but he's much more enthusiastic when he gives his homily, and more animated and everything, and just the whole service is like that. And I think it's closer to what I'm used to from California, because I went to a church that was mostly Hispanic, and so I just feel really comfortable in there. But because it's in Spanish, and I'm trying so hard to understand it. And I can understand like about half the homily, so I get a pretty good idea of what he's saying. And the scriptures, if I can understand just a little bit, then I usually know like where it's from and stuff, and I can figure that out. And then the rest of the mass, it's the same whether it's in English or in Spanish. So I can figure that out pretty easily. But yeah, I do kind of come out with a headache because of focusing so hard and trying to understand everything. But as my Spanish gets better, it's getting better. So anyways, that's just one of the things that I'm doing. I know that sounds kind of insane, but it's really fun. I enjoy it. I've always enjoyed languages. So that, and then I'm actually working on 2 books right now. I'm working on another novel and for a new series, but with the same characters as before. So it's all kind of connected, but it's a new series. And then I'm also working on a Bible study that I'm hoping to use on YouTube eventually. That's kind of like my secondary project, so I'm not quite sure when I'll finish that, but it's about Psalm 23 and about using different kinds of Bible studies to study it. So, so that's going to be really cool. And yeah, so anyway, I have other things I can tell you about, but I promised myself I would keep this to 10 minutes, and now it's been 11 minutes. So I'm going to say goodbye. And I hope that you'll either in the comments below, or if you see this on Facebook, under my post or something, just like update me on how you're doing. Because a lot of times I don't see everybody's posts. You might see mine, but I don't see yours. And I see some people's and I don't think they see mine and stuff. And I feel like I'm losing track of a lot of people. So that's why I'm doing these updates, as well as asking you to pray for me. And anyway, just, yeah, let me know how you're doing. Okay. I love you all. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.